In this video, I'm going to show you an unconventional method for installing kitchen backsplash that worked so well, I may never go back to my old methods. It was cheap, easy, and looks great. So I hope you'll stick around and check it out. So I've been doing backsplashes for years as part of my general contracting business. I've always used Thinset. I know some guys use mastic or other similar pre-mixed products, but I've always trusted Thinset. The problem is, it's time-consuming and messy. So I had this idea I've been meaning to try out. I decided to test it on my own kitchen. What I had here was a solid slab of granite. It was here when we moved in, and we just found it to be too dark. I wasn't prepared to take on a full kitchen renovation, so I decided to do a quick facelift with a new backsplash. Typically, I remove existing backsplash, patch the walls as necessary, and install the new tile with Thinset. For this project, I'm going to prep the granite and use a special adhesive to tile directly on top. Here's why. I know I have a completely flat surface to work on, which is often not the case. Drywall typically has hips and valleys that are a result of imperfect wall studs or joint compound on the drywall. The tricky part for this setup is that I need to bond the tile to the granite, which can be more challenging than tiling to drywall. For this, I'm going to be using a special construction adhesive. Not just any adhesive, specifically PL Premium Fast Grab. I like PL because it's polyurethane based, so a little moisture is okay on the surface. That's important when you're cutting tile with a wet saw. But standard PL Premium won't work for two reasons. First, it has a lower viscosity and lower initial tack. It won't hold the tile tight enough while it's curing. The second reason is that PL has a tendency to expand when it cures. This can be a problem when installing a loose tile. The Fast Grab version doesn't expand as much, and it has a very high viscosity and initial tack. I can push it in place and know it's not going anywhere. A few important notes about this method. I would not use it on mosaic tiles or any tile that's very small where you could get squeeze out between them. The idea here is to use just enough adhesive to make a solid bond, but not so much that it squeezes out the sides. Also, don't use this method for floors or anywhere that's going to get a lot of abuse. Kitchen backsplashes are a perfect example of tile that will get minimal abuse, so this is a perfect application. Before I committed to this project, I did a test in the corner. I wanted to make sure the bond was strong enough to last. I did my surface prep and I installed 2 tiles in the corner, which is a spot that's typically covered by something on the countertop. I left it for 2 days and then tested the strength. Let me tell you, it was so hard to remove these tiles. I feel bad for the next person who's going to demo this kitchen, which will probably be me. Anyway, now that I'm confident that this plan is going to work, it's time to get set up. I always cover my countertops with cardboard. Make sure to do that before you start cleaning with denatured alcohol. You don't want to get drops on the countertop that could stain the surface. So here's how I'm going to prep. First, I cleaned the granite with a 50-50 mix of water and denatured alcohol. This does 2 things. It helps to clean the surface, and it also aids in deglossing the smooth granite that's been polished to a high gloss. Then I sanded with an aggressive 80 grit sandpaper just to scuff the surface and create a mechanical bond. Then one more quick wipe with the 50-50 mix and I'm good to go. I always keep mineral spirits nearby for any cleanup. I like to use these little squeeze bottles because it's so much easier than working with the big metal cans. The hardest part about this method is making sure not to use too much adhesive. Test some mineral spirits on the surface of the tile before proceeding to make sure it doesn't affect the surface. As long as it's good, then make sure you wipe any squeeze out with the mineral spirits as you go so nothing dries on the surface. Now that the project is done, I couldn't be happier with the result. Installation of this backsplash took me half the time of a normal backsplash because I wasn't mixing Thinset and cleaning tools and buckets. The other big time saver is I didn't have to clean out any Thinset between tiles. If you've ever done tile work, you know that after you're done, you typically have to go around and scrape the extra Thinset before installing grout. Not here. After the tile set overnight, I was ready to grout without any cleanup. So what do you guys think of this quick upgrade? It was much less messy than my normal method, and it went much faster. I'll leave a link in the description for the products I used here if you want to check those out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, sometimes the conventional methods aren't always the best. If you think outside the box, maybe you'll find there's a better way. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, I'll see you on the next one.